To my surprise, however, after the book came out, not only was my book not forbidden, but the Jesuits came out in droves in support of it. Well, aside from the Jesuits, I recall an invitation to write for a Catholic magazine when the Pope was coming to Canada. It said, as the role model of young Catholic women, the invitation read. I did accept that invitation, by the way. The article I wrote then was about the ongoing abhorrent murders of young women in Juarez, Mexico. For if we did not view the female figure as divine, we surely did not see the worthiness of the female human. Imago Dei was the Latin term for men being in the image of God. Where was I, a mixed-race woman, a member of half of the human race whose monthly menses announced how the human race continued, a mother who believed in pro-choice as part and parcel of modern societies placing the large bulk of child-rearing on women? I searched for her to speak to me through the surviving teachings of my indigenous ancestors. From Maya to Mexica, there was no shortage of female divine figures. A goddess is not a token title. To be a goddess implies that the deity has a realm of power. The power may be limited to, let's say, a phase of the moon or the mount where she may reside. For all mountains and hills represented mother, but it is divine power nonetheless. Countless of Mexicans today believe that Guadalupe is Tonantzin, Our Lady Mother, because on the hill where she appeared, the divine goddess was worshipped. It is also known that Coatlicue, terrifying goddess of death and fertility, was interchangeably worshipped there. In the story of Coatlicue, the virgin priestess is sweeping a celestial temple when she finds a ball of feathers. Putting it in her apron pocket, she becomes pregnant with the sun god. Not alone in my quest as a young feminist, I included poems and by various individuals, a play in here for the goddess of the Americas. But was the Virgin Mother Our Lady of Guadalupe Coatlicue? Was she Tonantzin, Mother of Sustenance, Mother of Corn, Mother Earth? Or was she perhaps the crone, the old grandmother goddess, Tosi, Teteo Inan, Mother of the Gods, Tlali-Ioli, Heart of the Earth, or another old crone with yet other aspects, Tlatzalteotl, patroness of midwives and the purifying sweat baths. She also absolves sins such as sexual misconduct and vices. I don't know, but here is what I do know. The constellations on the image of Guadalupe's, of the Virgen de Guadalupe appeared according to the old calendar on what was then the winter solstice, December 12th, 1531. This great miracle, by the way, was not recognized in any form, much less celebrated until years later. Over a century later, the apparitions were documented and recognized by the Church. And all along the way, from the conquest until that time, there are records of countless of other Madonna apparitions, miraculous happenings related to sacred objects, and so forth. In the 17th century, a rivalry between Our Lady of Guadalupe and Our Lady of the Good Remedy took place. One was considered to bring on rains, and the other was called in to stop flooding. They were both winter solstice goddesses. There had been a revered image of the Spanish Virgin of Guadalupe. It was either a plaque or a statue, I couldn't recall, beforehand in the shrine built before the apparitions. All of this is to say, I'm not here to dispute their credibility one way or the other. But I asked myself, might I find the Mother of God also in the cosmos? If so, representing what planet, single star, or constellation? Guadalupe's mantle, originally blue, sprayed with constellations as they were seen in Mexico City on the exact date of her first apparition. She says, "Are you not in the folds of my mantle?" was one of her first questions to the fearful Saint Juan Diego, speaking eagle. "Are you not in the folds of my mantle?" It could be the message of any humble Mexican mother to her child whom she embraces, nurtures, and keeps safe. But the Mexican Guadalupe's mantle was not just any mantle. No one can dismiss the accuracy of the stars, whether magically or hand-painted. It tells us when she appeared on earth, but was its subliminal message meant to say more? Did it tell us, in fact, as I believe now, who the Mother of God was and where she was? The constellations, meticulously imprinted, are inclusive of the Milky Way. It is on the winter solstice when the Milky Way appears to give birth to the sun god. In the case of the Aztecs, the sun god would be known as Huitzilopochtli. On these continents, the Milky Way was much venerated by the Maya. They called it the world tree, which was represented by a tall and majestic flowering tree, the ceiba. The star clouds that form the Milky Way were seen as the tree of life, where all life came from. Every winter solstice, when the earth made its way around the sun, it appeared to move against the background stars, which was why the visible constellations slowly changed the seasons. Every year the sun conjoined the crossing points of Milky Way, where the dark rift was an ecliptic in Sagittarius. The sun coming out from the dark rift appeared to be birthed by the Milky Way. During this time, the cosmic mother gives birth to Huitzilopochtli, the sun god. Guadalupe's painted image shows the sash that indicates she is pregnant. And on the sash, the flower symbolic of Huitzilopochtli. She is going to give birth to the sun god. The indigenous astronomer priest named her Our Lady Mother. She labored to give birth to the sun, and she was glorious with her nurturing milk. Our Lady Mother, the Milky Way, has been recognized by cultures throughout the globe. One legend explains how the Milky Way was created by Heracles when he was a baby. His father Zeus was fond of his son, who was born of a mortal woman. He decided to let the infant Heracles suckle on his divine wife Hera's milk when she was asleep, an act which would endow the baby with godlike qualities. When Hera woke up and realized that she was breastfeeding an unknown infant, she pushed him away, and the spurting milk became the Milky Way. For the ancient Egyptians, Bata or Bat was originally a deification of the Milky Way, considered a pool of cow's milk. Bata was considered a cow goddess. She was originally worshipped in Seychelles and was thought of as the essence of the soul. Hence is her name, which is the feminine form of the word Ba, the spiritual element that Egyptians considered to constitute one of the major parts of the soul. Once I identified Our Lady of Guadalupe as the Milky Way, and the universal belief of mother's milk as nurturance issuing from the cosmic mother, I asked myself, what does this feminine celestial cluster of stars do for me? Well, even as she leaves my mind as a human form, or woman-like symbol with the womb, like any goddess throughout time, she nevertheless holds power over me and over my life. I'll explain. For one, the connection of religious beliefs between the East and West, identifying the Milky Way as a commanding feminine energy in the universe, means as a woman, I do have a place in cosmology, Imago Dei. The pre-conquest sculptures of deities, hand-tooled by experts, stonecutters, were not desired to be representational of human form, but masterpieces of ideas and concepts. Therefore, while I admire the downcast gaze and golden hue of the Mexican Madonna, I understand her as the representation and interpretation of a school of theological thought. She, like the invisible Lord of the heavens, an idea born of necessity. I understand that whether she is thought of as a human woman who gave birth to a divine child in human form, or a celestial force giving birth to the sun, our greatest star and source of light, life, and energy, woman does exist. I can exist. Imagine how ancient stargazers from Egypt to Chichen Itza wondered at the Milky Way during the winter solstice and the miraculous movements they witnessed. I imagine, like a child might imagine, so simple is my understanding, how they came to record the Venus transits, watched and waited as the androgynous star planet crossed before their eyes twice in a short period every 100 plus years. I could make up countless of stories myself about these marvelous entities if so many already did not exist. As Catholics, we popularly believe we go to heaven after we leave this life. Somewhat of a contradiction, since doctrine has it that we must wait for the Lord's verdict on our souls at Judgment Day. Pre-conquest religion had it that we also have the capacity to join celestial bodies in the sky. For example, when a woman died during child labor, it was considered that she was giving birth to perhaps a future warrior, and therefore she had a place of honor in the skies and joined the sun during the sun setting every day. Every point of arrival is the point of departure. In Lakesh is a concept passed on to us also from the Mayan culture. Tú eres mi otro yo. It translates to, you are my other self. So, I wonder, is our earth also spied on way far away by beings who might also project their ideas and thoughts about us here? Might they see the billions of souls that inhabit the earth pulsating brightly with light? If so, we must surely emanate a similar message. In this vast universe, among other universes, if you see me, you are not alone. In Lakesh. Gracias.